Every day, the modern world is filled with the light of new knowledge. We believe that over the past centuries, humanity has made great strides in understanding history, clearly tracing the stages of civilization's development. But there are traces, artifacts, and structures on the planet that challenge our beliefs, completely refuting established truths. They are silent witnesses to eras forgotten by all chronicles and technologies that, according to our textbooks, were inaccessible to ancient civilizations. These are grandiose question marks carved in stone and metal that point to gaps in our understanding of history. In the depths of the jungle, hidden under the sands or submerged in the cold waters of the oceans, evidence is found of the existence of highly developed civilizations whose technological power exceeded all our ideas about the possibilities of their time. We are accustomed to thinking of the development of civilizations as linear, gradual, from primitive tools to electricity. But these findings disrupt this chronology, as if someone had inserted fragments from a completely different set, coming from another reality, into our puzzle. The discovery of these relics poses difficult questions for historians, physicists, and engineers. How did people who did not possess the technology to smelt iron manage to cut stone with such surgical precision, achieving angles that today require the use of laser technology? What power allowed them to create tools capable of cutting through granite and basalt as if it were butter? And why did this supernatural knowledge suddenly disappear, leaving only these amazing monuments behind? Their very existence inspires fear. They hint at a catastrophic interruption in technological progress, at the fact that humanity once possessed knowledge that is now inaccessible to us. Perhaps previous civilizations were not destroyed by natural disasters, but by something more threatening. Or perhaps they voluntarily left our planet. Behind each of these discoveries lies a mystery that people stubbornly try to unravel by rational means. These are material artifacts that raise questions to which traditional science cannot provide clear answers. This gives rise to alternative and sometimes forbidden interpretations. In this story, we will embark on a journey to the most mysterious of these discoveries, which still hold echoes of lost knowledge. Until the early 20th century, the academic community held a strict and unchanging view of the development of civilization. It was believed that human history began with primitive hunters and gatherers, then passed through the Bronze and Iron Ages, and only reached its peak in the modern era. Any deviations from this model of interpretation were perceived as errors or myths. The Greeks and Romans were recognized as the pinnacle of the ancient world, while everything that preceded them remained in the shadows of ignorance. Such strong skepticism led to many important discoveries that did not fit into the generally accepted picture of the world, being either ignored or misinterpreted due to blind adherence to dogma. Scientists of that period, captivated by their own dogmas, could not acknowledge the obvious fact. Some ancient civilizations possessed technologies that significantly surpassed the level of development of their era. In the mid-19th century, when large-scale work was underway throughout Europe and America to build new roads and mines, strange artifacts began to surface. They were found at considerable depths, in geological layers estimated to be millions of years old. Sometimes these were exquisitely crafted metal balls. In other cases, fragments of pottery that could not possibly have appeared in the time period to which the surrounding coal or sandstone belonged. These finds were rarely included in official museum catalogs, and if they were often accompanied by dismissive comments about the dubiousness of their dating. In 1851, in Dorchester, Massachusetts, during blasting operations, a metal vessel was found embedded in rock that was preliminarily estimated to be at least 100,000 years old. The bell-shaped vessel was made of an alloy containing silver and other metals. It was not a primitive artifact, but evidence of highly developed metalworking skills. However, the find quickly lost its relevance and disappeared from public view, as its existence contradicted the geological concepts known at the time. These events served as a starting point for more significant discoveries that followed. They gave rise to a secret, unofficial community of researchers who did not trust official science and believed that the history of humanity was much longer and more mysterious than is commonly believed. This interest in alternative theories gradually gathered evidence that challenged some established historical paradigms. The feeling that something significant was being hidden or simply forgotten grew stronger. Everything was leading to the world being shaken by the realization of the real scale and technological advancement of ancient civilizations. At the beginning of the 20th century, in 1901, Greek sponge fishermen working off the island of Antikythera raised the wreckage of an ancient Roman ship from the seabed. Among the finds of great archaeological value, bronze statues and ceramics, was an inconspicuous piece of bronze covered with marine deposits. It did not attract much attention, as it resembled an ordinary stone or a piece of rusty metal. But a few months later, when the find had dried out a little and flaked apart, researchers discovered a complex structure inside it, consisting of numerous gears, dials, and inscriptions. The Antikythera mechanism. Years of research after its discovery revealed its true purpose and astonishing complexity. It was not just an astronomical device. It was an analog computer capable of predicting with high accuracy the movements of the 5 planets known in ancient times, the phases of the moon, solar and lunar eclipses, and determining the dates of ancient Greek sporting events. Inside the mechanism were at least 37 gear wheels, each of which was made with astonishing precision. Modern engineers could hardly imagine how such parts could have been made without the use of machine tools. The shipwreck was dated to approximately 1 century BC. This meant that its creation coincided with a period that historians considered relatively primitive in terms of mechanics. The presence of a differential gear in a device that was believed to have been invented only in the 16th century AD was a complex technical achievement and called into question the generally accepted chronology of technological development dating back 2 millennia. The Antikythera mechanism embodied technologies that seemed unattainable at the time. The authorship of this mechanism remains a mystery to this day. Some theories attribute its creation to Archimedes or Posidonius, prominent scientists of the time. However, the lack of appropriate tools and technologies at the time raises reasonable doubts. Where did all the other similar devices disappear to? Why has it not been possible to find a single intermediate link in the development of technologies that could have led to the creation of such a complex device? Its sudden appearance in the historical context, like a single burst of highly developed civilization that then disappeared without a trace, evokes a sense of global loss of knowledge and technology. It seems that the mechanism was transferred from another, more advanced time dimension, and its accidental discovery is only a vague clue to the lost wisdom of the past. This suggests that the ancient world possessed unaccounted for technological reserves, or that its creators had access to information unavailable to the rest of civilization. This discovery prompted many researchers to rethink their attitude toward ancient texts and myths, which often contain descriptions of amazing but seemingly fantastic technical achievements. The Antikythera device became material confirmation that the ancients may have possessed knowledge that we are only beginning to master. On the high-altitude Altiplano Plateau in Bolivia, at an altitude of almost 4 kilometers above sea level, lies the archaeological complex of Tiwanaku. Nearby stand the ruins of Pumapunku, also known as the Gate of the Puma. The structures, whose age, according to various estimates, can range from 1.5 to 12,000 years, are one of the most mysterious enigmas of stone construction. The site is formed by huge blocks of andesite and diorite, which are considered to be among the most durable rocks on the planet. Each block weighs up to 150 tons, but the main thing is not their weight. The mystery lies in the amazing workmanship of the stone. The blocks at Pumapunku are carved with such precision and geometric accuracy that they surpass the capabilities of modern technology, even when using precision tools with diamond tips. researchers have discovered completely flat surfaces with 90-degree angles, absolutely no errors, and perfectly smooth surfaces on the blocks. Particularly surprising were the H-shaped blocks with grooves and protrusions designed to connect the structure. The grooves and holes are cut with such precision that it is impossible to have been done by hand. The absence of traces of primitive tools, such as chisels or bronze saws, confirms this assumption. After all, bronze is not capable of cutting andesite. It follows that unknown technologies were used to process the stone. In particular, scientists cannot explain how ancient builders created many identical holes and recesses in hard stone with a cylindrical or conical shape. The method of their manufacture resembles the work of a high-speed drill, while chiseling stone would have been slow and inaccurate. The origin of these giant blocks also remains a mystery. The quarries where andesite was mined are located 90 kilometers from the construction site. For the supposed culture, moving multi-ton stones over mountain passes and rough terrain without the use of wheels or strong draft animals seems logically impossible. The ruins of Pumapunku give the impression that the complex was destroyed by some catastrophic event, possibly a sudden flood or earthquake. However, what remains of it is undeniable evidence of advanced engineering skills. These are not just structures, but industrial production of standardized stone blocks, requiring a complex system of planning and resource organization. The existence of Pumapunku testifies to a forgotten period of highly developed engineering thought on the American continent. This civilization has no visible predecessors or descendants in known history, which implies the influence of external forces or the existence of a previous civilization that possessed technologies that we are only beginning to comprehend. In the southeastern part of modern Turkey stands the hill of Gobekli Tepe. Its discovery radically changed our understanding of the origins of human civilization. Built about 12,000 years ago, the complex predates the Egyptian pyramids by 7,000 years. This makes it the oldest known megalithic structure in the world. The complex consists of a number of circular structures supported by massive T-shaped limestone columns, each weighing up to 20 tons. The columns were brought from quarries and installed with exceptional precision. Their surfaces are decorated with elaborate reliefs depicting wild animals. The main mystery of the complex is the level of organization and social structure of the builders. 12,000 years ago, humanity was in the era of hunters and gatherers, who were not thought to have the ability to carry out such resource-intensive construction projects. The construction of such a facility required the organization of hundreds of people, which indicates an unknown level of social complexity and centralized religious practice. Even more surprising is that approximately 1,500 years after its construction, the complex was deliberately covered with earth and stones and buried under a hill. The reason for this voluntary destruction remains a mystery. Was it done to preserve the shrine or to conceal knowledge? Gobekli Tepe is a reminder that civilization did not arise from the needs of agriculture, but appeared thanks to some unknown spiritual force that led to the sudden flourishing of complex societies. This calls into question the very foundation of historical ideas, pointing to the possibility of a highly developed culture existing before the advent of agriculture. In 1936, a small clay vessel was discovered near Baghdad. Inside it was a copper cylinder, and at the bottom of it was an iron rod sealed with a bitumen plug. At first, it was mistaken for an ordinary storage vessel. In 1938, archaeologist Wilhelm Koenig suggested that this device was an ancient galvanic cell, i.e., a battery. Research has determined that the find is approximately 2,000 years old. If this theory is confirmed, it would mean that the inhabitants of Mesopotamia had knowledge of electricity 2,000 years before its principles were officially discovered. Filled with electrolyte, the device, known as the Baghdad battery, is capable of producing a small electric current. The key question raised by this discovery is the purpose of the electricity. It is believed that it was used for electroplating, the process of applying a thin layer of gold to other metals. The artifacts found in Iraq are covered with gold, the thickness of which can only be achieved through electrolysis. This explanation points to an incredible level of technological development that was ahead of its time. Another more mystical version suggests that the batteries were used for religious or therapeutic purposes to achieve inexplicable effects in shrines. The existence of the Baghdad battery serves as physical proof that humanity once discovered electricity and possessed secret knowledge that was subsequently lost. Of all the wonders of the ancient world, the Great Pyramid of Cheops remains the most mysterious structure. Consisting of approximately 2,300,000 stone blocks, some weighing up to 70 tons, the pyramid is impressive in its scale. The delivery, lifting, and laying of these giant stones with such precision represents a colossal engineering feat. The most important mystery is the incredible accuracy with which this was accomplished. The base of the pyramid is almost a perfect square, with only slight deviations in the length of the sides and angles. The sides of the pyramid are precisely oriented to the cardinal points, which indicates the use of sophisticated surveying instruments and profound mathematical knowledge that, according to scientists, was not available to the ancient Egyptians. The internal structure of the pyramid remains equally mysterious. The king's chamber contains a sarcophagus that is too large to have been carried through the existing passages, suggesting the existence of another, as yet undiscovered passage. The orientation of the ventilation shafts towards certain stars indicates that they had astronomical or symbolic significance. The most mysterious aspect of the pyramid is its cladding. It was covered with polished limestone slabs, perfectly fitted together with a gap of less than 1 millimeter. Such a level of precision calls into question the possibility of using primitive tools. Perhaps the Great Pyramid is a giant geodetic marker or technological device, the purpose of which is still hidden under the veil of time. Some researchers believe that its purpose was not burial, but the storage or generation of energy. On the Nazca Plateau in the arid desert of southern Peru, there are huge geoglyphs created by the ancient Nazca civilization. These drawings in geometric patterns cover an area of about 500 square kilometers and represent images of animals, as well as perfectly straight lines up to 10 kilometers long. The most important mystery is related to scale and planning. The figures are so huge that they cannot be seen and assessed from ground level. They only become visible when viewed from a height of several hundred meters. This suggests that the ancient builders either had the ability to observe from a height or used incredibly complex surveying methods that allowed them to transfer their designs to such a vast area. It seems logically impossible to create such large-scale and accurate drawings without being able to observe the final result from above. To create the geoglyphs, the upper dark layer of stones was removed. The purpose of the lines remains a mystery. Widely held theories suggest that they were part of rituals associated with water or were used as astronomical calendars. However, the incredible precision and similarity of some lines to runways have given rise to alternative theories about the connection of geoglyphs with aircraft or some other purpose that is still unknown to us. Nazca is a grand message carved into the surface of the Earth, testifying to a high level of organization and geodetic precision unattainable for a culture that did not possess writing. These 6 and many other lesser-known findings are not random discoveries or isolated misprints in dating. Together, they form a single body of evidence indicating that human history is not a simple, linear progression from primitiveness to modernity. Instead, they point to a cyclical nature of development, to periods of high technological and social complexity that were subsequently destroyed or destroyed by themselves, leaving only mysterious traces. Each of these discoveries is like a fragment of a broken mirror, reflecting the image of a vanished, powerful civilization that possessed knowledge in the fields of mechanics, electricity, astronomy, and construction that still seem unattainable to us. Science, locked within the confines of its dogmas, prefers to explain these phenomena as coincidences, incredible circumstances, or primitive but ingenious methods that cannot be reproduced even with modern knowledge. This skepticism is explained by the fact that recognizing the existence of such technologies would create serious problems for traditional historical chronology. But the Antikythera mechanism, the accuracy of Pumapunku, the age of Gobekli Tepe, the electricity of the Baghdad battery, the geodesy of the Pyramid of Giza, and the scale of the Nazca lines are indisputable facts that make us think about other explanations. They point to unaccounted sources of knowledge or the possibility of nonlinear human development. Looking at these monuments, we sense something more than just the result of the labor of ancient civilizations. We feel the presence of a mystery that seems to be waiting for its moment to be understood.